Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 109 Dolidze versus Hernandez. We back with another breakdown of a fight night, Apex card that is an Apex card. It's okay. It's not amazing. I know the same thing was said about last week, and look what happened. But just on paper, forgetting what happened last week, just going off paper, last week's card was better. This week's card, truly, in my opinion, just the last hurdle till Hamzat Drakus. I feel like it's the only thing you can really look at this card as, because what else is there to really look at? There's a few alright fights on it, but there's just not a lot to where I'm like, oh joy, can't wait. Like, it's fine. It's not bad. I'm not calling it garbage. But I think it's a normal Apex card, which means it's either going to overachieve and be phenomenal, like last week, or more than likely, and what usually happens, it's going to be forgettable. It'll be a card that we all watch, we talk about till Monday morning, and then we talk about what's next week. So, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get another spectacular card like we did on last week with Cachoeira and Park. That card was phenomenal. But I'm just gonna be honest, because I always am, I have my doubts. So, trust me, I want to be wrong. I hope we get 12 amazing fights, 12 fight of the nights, yada yada yada. But it's not gonna happen. So, I think we're gonna get either a card that overachieves or a card that's forgettable, and that's fine. It's just gotta make it to Drakus Hamzat. That's next week, and I cannot fucking wait. So, but to get there, we gotta get to our last hurdle, which is UFC Vegas 109 with a middleweight main event on top of it, which is funny. So let's do it. It's a fine card. Main card is fine. Prelims are rough. And very rough, and you'll see that just from the opening fight, so yeah. But yeah, that's about what I can think to say about this card. You don't care, I don't care. I have talked about this card plenty on stream this week. Me and Jaybeers made a parlay for it on Wednesday if you want to go see that. We broke it down on Tuesday. So this is just more the in-depth breakdown with yours truly. So I've talked about this card plenty. I'm going to talk about it again after this with the pre-party, and I'm already out of things to say about it. So let's get into it. 12 fights in the Apex, sadly, but this is the last time we're in the Apex for a hot ass minute. I don't even think there's another Apex card booked at the moment, which is fucking sweet. So let's get through this and get to Drakus Hamzat, shall we? So, that being said, there's not really much else to be said. Fine card, forgettable card, last hurdle before Drakus Hamzat. Let's break it down. Last thing to say before I do is the normal YouTube bullshit. Please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. 200 subs the goal by the end of 2025. Fuck, it seems like 161 should be the goal by the end of 2025, because I can't get past 160, but whatever, not a big deal to me. Thank you no matter what. I'm grateful no matter what number that subscriber count says. No matter what number the view count says, I'm grateful. I love y'all. I do this for y'all, and let's fucking break down another card, our final card, before Drakus and Hamzat. 12 fights, UFC Vegas 109. You ready to break it down? I know I am as much as I'll ever be. So let's do it. UFC Vegas 109 breakdown. Begin. And we begin with a fight that was booked on Monday. No, nobody pulled out. No, neither of these guys were booked prior. The UFC threw a fight on the card on Monday to fill out the card a bit. And to be honest, I wish they didn't, because this is garbage. As we have in our opening fight of the night for UFC Vegas 109, the most recent fight booked for this card on Monday. That's why this is also at light heavyweight, a weight class these two do not fight in. As we have to open UFC Vegas 109 with a stinker between Cody Brundage versus Eryk McConico. No, I did not accidentally click on the local regional event. This is on a UFC card for some reason. I'll say this, UFC, I appreciate you trying to fill out a card that was only at 11 fights, now it has 12. I appreciate that, we all do. But I think you could have left this one on the back burner. We did not need to see this fight on this card or any card. But, yeah. At least it's opening the card. It's not the goddamn co-main like any normal Cody Brundage activities. So yeah, not much to say here. This is up at 2:05 because it's on super short notice. Give me Cody Brundage. I'm not doing a breakdown of this fight. Not a fucking chance. But in-depth one, I don't care. They both suck. Loser gets cut. Winner gets cut. Give me Cody Brundage by decision. You don't care. I don't fucking care. These two are garbage. Drink if you do that drinking game every time I call a fighter garbage. And yeah, give me Cody Brundage by decision. They both suck. I don't care who wins. Next. Not even worth the time it would take to break it down. More than worth the time it took to say their names. Next, the fight that we all thought was going to be opening the card until they booked the Brundage fight, but now it's the second fight of the night, and it's way better than the Cody Brundage fight, so what can you do? As we have in our first female fight of the night, first of 3, they're getting a lot of spotlight tonight. I think they got 3 fights next week as well, or at least 2 next week as well, so they're starting to get more spotlight. And I know some people ain't happy about that. If you're weird like that, fuck you. For a normal MMA fan like me who looks at it as MMA, I have no problem with it, unless they were god-awful fights, and this is not. As we have in our second fight of the night in the flyweight division. Is it flyweight? Yes, it is. A fight that's super easy to predict, but I'll break it down a little bit anyway, just because I do have a few interesting things to say about it. As we have in our second fight of the night, our first of 3 female fights tonight in the flyweight division, we have Gabriella Gabby Fernandes versus Julia Stoliarenko. A fine fight here, I guess. An easy win, easy fight to predict, so I guess it's not that great, but good to see one of these fighters back after coming off a ginormous win in their last fight, and oh boy do I have some things to say about that. And then a tomato can back for the first time in a while. Oh boy. Second fight of the night, let's break it down. Our first breakdown of the night, because this one's actually worth it. And we'll begin with the one who's going to win this fight. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler. Gabriella Fernandes, 10-3, 31 years old, 2-2 in the UFC. In her UFC debut, she came in on short notice against Jasmine Jasdovicius and got demolished. That has aged fine, totally understandable, can't get upset about that. Then in her second UFC fight, she lost to Teresa Bleda, which I don't think that's a bad. Bleda's decent when she was actually an active fighter, so I know those are pretty decent losses. And then for 2 wins in the UFC, which are actually pretty solid, she beat Carly Judice in her first UFC win in a fight of the night split decision. That has aged fucking phenomenal. And then her last win, back in November, less than a year ago, early in the morning, because it was, I think, the Piotr Jan Davison Figueiredo card, she drops and clubs and subs Kong Wang. Fraud checks her as a giant underdog to get a performance bonus and the win. And now she's fighting Julia Stoliarenko. where do I begin with this? Okay, so we know where Kong Wang is now. After that fight, she got handed 2 tomato cans and is now in the top 15. As Fernandes, the girl who beat her, is fighting Julia Stoliarenko, who's garbage. Does anyone think how this makes no fucking sense? How bullshit the UFC can be? Why is Fernandes not fighting fucking Ariane Lipski or Bruna Brazil? Why is Kong Wang not the one fighting Julia Stoliarenko? Like, I fucking hate how the UFC just ignores when their fucking golden goose loses. And then they fuck over the one who beat him. Gabriella Fernandes. The fucking, well, I can't say MVP, but they just like, pretend that fight didn't happen for Charbel. They pretend Raul Rosas didn't lose. Like, all their fucking golden boys. Or when they do talk about it, that loss made them better. No, it didn't. They still suck. Kong Wang is garbage, and it's a crime that Gabriella Fernandes is pretty much getting punished for beating her. I don't know what to say. I truly just don't know what to say. Fernandes is a decent fighter. She's not amazing, but she's decent. She has some really good striking. Sure, she has some good submissions. Her grappling defensively is not phenomenal, but if she can lock in a submission, she's not bad. Her kickboxing is decent. She's a fine fighter, and again, I've never seen a fighter get punished for winning a fight, and it's a shame this is happening to her. So that's my little tyrant rant English over. Again, I've never seen a fighter get fucking punished for winning. That's all I can fucking say. And then for her opponent, Julia Stoliarenko from Lithuania, the only Lithuanian on, no, wait, wasn't Modestas Bukauskas? I think he might be as well. But Julia Stoliarenko is the one fighting tonight, not him, as she is 11-8-1, 32 years old, 2-6 in the UFC, having her first fight since February of 2024, where she lost. Shocker. Her 2 wins in UFC have been Jessica Rose Clark and Molly McCann. Somehow 2 big names that were just zero talent. And then her 5 losses in UFC have been Yana Santos, Julia Avila, Alexis Davis, Chelsea Chandler, and Luana Carolina. You know, as much as I don't think Julia has any talent, I will give her that. She has 2 notable wins. They might be against tomato cans, but still. And she has some respectable losses. Yana Santos, that's a tough debut. Julia Avila, she was okay at one point. Chelsea Chandler had a lot of hype, and that was her debut. Alexis Davis, Luana Carolina, and even Chelsea I'm being very generous with Chelsea Chandler one. Yeah, am I just wasting time? Yeah, Julia Stoliarenko's garbage. I don't know what you want me to say. She sucks. She has no fucking striking ability. She just wants to get the fight down and attempt to submit you, and usually that doesn't work. It worked against Rose Clark and Molly because they have no idea what grappling is, but against anyone with a competent fucking game plan will beat Julia easily, and they have. Alexis Davis, Chelsea Chandler, Luana Carolina, enough said. Stoliarenko's garbage. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. Drink. Every time, that's Jay Beers' joke. Drink every time I call a fighter garbage. Oh, there you go. That's 3 shots now. I have to take a 4th shot because because God, these betting odds crazy. Gabriella Fernandes minus 400 plus 310. They're crazy, but they're also on the nose, on the money, whatever you want to say. Yeah, Gabriella Fernandes should be minus 500. She was in that parlay we made on Wednesday, and she should win this fight. She's better. She's a little bit younger. She's not the bigger fighter, but what can you do? She's the better fighter. If this is a striking match, which it more than likely will be, Fernandes will win easily. If this turns to a grappling match, I'm extremely worried, but Stoliarenko is just not good. And unless Fernandes is just rusty after not fighting for almost a year, which I doubt, and even if that it was the case, Stoliarenko has not fought for even longer, Fernandes should still win this fight. She's just a better fighter. Keep it standing. Stoliarenko has no cardio, and this is a layup for Fernandes. So, if your last two wins are Kong Wang and Carly Judice, you should beat Julia Stoliarenko. So, yeah, she's going to, she should, and she probably will. So, give me Gabriella Fernandes by probably decision. A finish is possible. Stoliarenko has been finished a few times, KO'd by Luana, KO'd by Chelsea, but it's unlikely. Like, Gabriella might just take the smart. I wouldn't be shocked if this turns to a Paul Craig fight where Stoliarenko just shoots shitty takedowns and just kicks her feet up at Fernandes for the last 2 rounds of the fight. So, and Fernandes is not a great cardio fighter either, so give me Gabriella Fernandes by decision. I would not be shocked at a finish, but it's unlikely. So give me Gabriella Fernandes by decision in a layup against a tomato can. Again, getting punished for winning against Kong Wang is insane, but fuck it, I'll take an easy correct pick. Give me Gabriella Fernandes by decision. Not really much else to say. Layup. Layup as she's being punished, which is bullshit. Next, our third fight of the night, another returning fighter after a long time away. Seems like that's a running theme with this card. I think it's this last one, though. As we have in our second, the list really came out there, our second male fight of the night, in our first and only in the welterweight division, I believe. Yeah, it is. As we have, I think, maybe the best prelim, to be honest. If I had to make a featured prelim out of all of these, I'd probably pick this one. This is a pretty decent fight I'm actually kind of interested in. As we have in our third fight of the night in the welterweight division, our only welterweight fight of the night, and it's a good one, maybe my favorite prelim, as we have Uros, the Doctor Medic, versus the RGV bad boy, Gilbert Urbina. Yes, Gilbert Urbina is still in the UFC. I didn't know that either. I know that's the top question I thought of when I thought of this fight. Actually, the funny thing is I knew he was still on the roster. I did this fucking thing a few weeks back. I think it was actually like 2 months ago at the beginning of July, where I did a rankings of fighters who have not fought in over a year and a half. Urbina was on the list, and he gets this fight booked not long after, so maybe he saw it. But yeah, good to see. Not good to see him back because he sucks, but good to see him not just sitting on his ass taking up a roster spot. So there's that, I guess. Yeah, another fighter returning off after a long layoff. See what happens. Again, probably my favorite prelim. They should be good. Probably should not go 15 minutes. Let's talk about it. As we will begin with the fighter who's gonna win this fight. I know you're shocked. Uros Medic, the Doctor from Serbia. Yes, I didn't want to say that. Didn't want to get that wrong. 10-3, 32 years old, 4-3 in UFC. Coming out of Contender Series, his 4 wins have been Elon Cruz, Omar Morales, Matthew Semmelsberger, and Tim Means. His 3 losses have been Jalen Turner, Mick Tebek, Oral By, and Pulna Hele Ano, which was at the beginning of this year, so he's been off for a decent amount of time. Not as much as Urbina, but still, it's about a solid 8 months. Medic is such a weird fighter to look back on, because there's been like 3 points in time where he's had a lot of hype, and then it just gets squished. Coming off Contender Series, going in that Jan Turner fight, he had a lot of hype. He lost. After that 2-fight winning streak against Omar and Semmelsberger, when he moved up to welterweight, he had a lot of hype. He got crushed by Mick Tebek, who is the GOAT, obviously. Beats Tim Means, gets a little bit of hype, fights Puna, gets crushed. So that's just kind of the fucking Uros Medic story. He's a guy who has a lot of potential. He's a really good striker. He has good power. He's a knockout artist. But then everything else about his game, his cardio is kind of shit. His grappling is shit. he's just not. Just as a boxer, he's really good. But then you factor everything else in, he's not very good. Again, grappling, shit. Cardio, bad. So, and, like, I will give him that. His 3 losses are very respectable losses. Jalen Turner was good at one point. I know, crazy. Mixed oral buys to go. Punahele Soriano is actually good at welterweight. Fine. His wins in the UFC have been kind of shit. Like, his best win is what an ancient Tim means. So, I know, not a great win there. But, yeah, like, Medic is a dude who has a lot of talent, but at this point we've seen his career. He's going to be a dude who gets some nice wins against bad fighters, gets some nice knockouts, and then he's going to fight a legit fighter and lose. That's just his career story. That's what it's been so far, and that's what's going to continue to be, it seems. So, he's not a bad fighter in terms of striking. When you factor in everything else, he's not well-rounded. He has pretty much a one-trick pony, and he's just not that great at anything else outside of that one trick, which is being a good, powerful striker. So, that's the Uros Medic story in a nutshell, pretty much. And then to talk about his opponent, Gilbert Urbina. Oh boy, welcome back, Gilbert. 7-3 in his MMA career, 29 years old, 1-2 in the UFC, having his first fight since February of 2024, where he got knocked the fuck out by Charles Ratke. Yeah, remember how I said I could think of a few good things to say with Medic? I can't think of anything good to say for Urbina, to be honest. He's from The Ultimate Fighter, which that says a lot as is. He went to the second round, but then lost to Tresean Gore, which says a lot as is. But he didn't go to the finale because Tresean Gore pulled out of the finale against Prime Battle, and Urbina stepped in, and he got crushed. But then he did beat Oran Kosi, which I did predict him as an underdog to win there, so thank you for that, Urbina. And then he fought Charles Ratke and got demolished. So, we've not seen him in a year and a half, and now he's back. What am I really meant to say about Gilbert Urbina? I can't think of really any skills the dude has. Is he a good striker? No. Does he have good cardio? No. Does he have a good chin? No. Can he grapple? A little bit. Is he tall for the weight class? Yeah. He's 6'3". Outside of that, there's just nothing good about this guy, in my opinion. He shouldn't be on the roster because he lost in The Ultimate Fighter, and he's just not very good. I guess Brian Battle and Charles Ratke are fine losses, and Oran Kosi is a guy you should be beating. But, like, Gilbert Urbina is just not good. Like, that's just the simple way to put it. He's not a good fighter, and he's gonna just probably prove that again here, unless he's to learn how to do something well in the last year and a half, which I doubt. Urbina is going to get fucked up here again, like he usually does, because he's just not good. So, good to have him back, not wasting a roster spot sitting on his ass, but he's probably not going to have a roster spot for much longer, so, yeah. The betting odds for his fight agree with that statement, having Uros and Medic minus 350 to plus 285. Yeah, I 100% agree. I would have Medic even higher. I would have Medic minus 400. He should win this fight. He's the better fighter. He's been more active. He's fought better guys. He's beat better guys. He's just better. So, what's the height? 6'1", so 2 inches in height, 4 inches in reach. Let's just be honest, Urbina's only path to victory is grappling, and let's be honest, he's not a good grappler. He doesn't have the cardio for that shit. He's not Punahele Soriano. He's not he's not Jalen Turner. He's not Mixtebek Orobai, the guy who beat Uros Medic grappling. Urbina's not good at really anything, and what's gonna happen? They're gonna start off striking, and this is gonna be like the Tim Means fight for Uros Medic. Eventually, in round 1, he's gonna land a knockout punch and put Urbina out, so give me Uros Medic by knockout in the first. the only path to victory for Urbina is grappling, and if you think he's gonna put on a Khabib level 3 round fucking grappling session, he's not. So, what's 8% picking Urbina? Good luck. It's not gonna happen. Give me Uros managed by knockout in the first. It's that simple, in my opinion. Gilbert Urbina's not good. And this is just a layup to get your Uros back on track. Something we've seen with his career many times after a loss. So, give me Uros managed by knockout in the first. Pretty simple stuff there. It's just that simple, truly. So, but there's a few fights on this card that are like that, and that's one of them. Truly, that simple. After that, we go to our fourth fight of the night in the women's bantamweight division, and we got all 3 female weight classes on this card, so that's kind of neat. And this is the first one with rankings on the line at women's bantamweight, just like last week. Hopefully, this fight's a little bit better than Hosa's fight last week, which I think it will be. This has the makings of being an alright fight. I know that's crazy to say because these two are not good, but actually has the makings of being a good fight. After we have in our fourth fight of the night in the one bantamweight division, our second and final female prelim of the night to the main card, we have in our fourth fight of the night in the top 15 of women's bantamweight for the number 14th ranking, I believe, 13th or 14th. We have Joselyne La Pantera Edwards versus Priscila Zombie Girl Cachoeira. Well, is this one not enjoyable to try and break down because I don't want to put a pick in on either of these two. So where do I begin? I'll get into the fighters in a second, but Joselyne Edwards having the best run of her career. Cachoeira, who is a fighter you can never try and fucking predict. Let's see what happens. Probably the hardest fight on the card to try and predict. Let's talk about it. It's a Cachoeira fight, so it has all the makings of being a banger. But predicting wise, good luck. And we'll begin with the ranked fighter in this fight, the Panamanian, I doubt that's what they're called, Joselyne Edwards, somehow having the best run of her career out of nowhere. 15-6, 29 years old. I swear she was older. 6-4 in the UFC. Her wins in the UFC have been Yanan Wu, Romana Pascal, even though that was a robbery, Ji-Yeon Kim, Lucy Pudilova, which was a robbery as well, Tamires Vidal, and Chelsea Chandler. Her losses have been Carol Hosa, Jessica Rose Clark, Nora Knoll, and Eileen Perez. So, I'll talk about Joselyne Edwards in 2 different parts. Her first UFC career, where from her debut to the Perez fight, where she was a below-average, shitty fighter, and now since the Vidal and Chandler fight, where she's now getting finishes and looking good. I don't understand it either. I'll say the elephant in the room. Tamires Vidal and Chelsea Chandler are garbage. But for Joselyne Edwards to beat them and finish them, that says a lot. In the Vidal fight, she was able to get a rear naked choke late in the fight somehow and finish her. Then in Chelsea Chandler fight earlier this year, she ran through her and knocked her out. And now she's on a 2-fight winning streak, 2-fight finish streak, ranked, now fighting Priscila Cachoeira. Was meant to fight Mayra Bueno Silva on this card, but she pulled out. I'll tell you right now, I was gonna pick Edwards to win that fight, so that's insane to think. But now she gets Cachoeira, which I think might be a harder fight, to be honest. And now we get to see if Edwards can continue this weird-ass run she's having. This is definitely a step up from Chandler and Vidal. But Edwards, if she can keep this weird-ass streak she's having going, we have a really weird fighter in the bantamweight division. So, I still am not sold on her. I don't think anyone is, but she is the best Edwards in the UFC. That's not even a debate. And then, she's getting finishes back to back at women's bantamweight. Haven't seen that too often, have you? Let's see, can La Pantera continue the best run of her career? Let's find out, man. Because she is fighting the always dangerous and annoying to try and predict and watch sometimes. Priscila, Cachoeira, the zombie girl, 13-6, 36 years old, 5-6 in the UFC, great record. I'm not gonna talk about her flyweight run. We all know she was a below average fighter. She beat up bad fighters, lost to good ones, had some bangers, blah. She is 1-0 at a bantamweight, where in her last fight she put Joselyne, Nunez out cold for a beautiful uppercut in the apex back in March. And now she's having her second fight at bantamweight, which is much needed. She should have moved up way sooner because she never really could make weight at flyweight. But now at bantamweight, she's filled out and she's starting off her career there with a beautiful finish. Cachoeira could be interesting at bantamweight. I still think she's the same shitty fighter she always has been, but the one positive thing you can always say about Cachoeira is she's exciting. That's the only compliment I'll ever give her, because I still think she should have been cut after that Jillian Robertson fight when she went for her eyes to get out of the rear naked choke, so, good stuff there. But, yeah, that's a Cachoeira fight. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. It's probably gonna be a fun fight, and let's see how she does at bantamweight. One win against a terrible fighter, now trying to get in the top 15 versus a Joselyne Edwards on a roll. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Cachoeira can do here. Is bantamweight her weight class? Is she gonna actually be good there, or is she still the same shitty fighter that has fun fights? Let's find out. The betting odds are saying the latter, having Joselyne Edwards minus 250 to plus 205. Yeah, I struggle to agree with that. I'm not saying I don't agree with Edwards being the favorite, but minus 250 for Joselyne Edwards against Cachoeira? A fighter I don't trust versus a fighter I don't trust. That's kind of scary. I would definitely have Joselyne Edwards like minus 190. Like, she should win. I'm going to pick Joselyne Edwards for many reasons outside of her should be the winner here. But I won't be shocked if Cachoeira wins this. Like, Joselyne Edwards doesn't come back down to earth eventually, and we know she's a shitty fighter. Cachoeira can just have those nights sometimes where she looks phenomenal. Like the Lipsky night, like the Joselyne Nunez fight. Is this gonna be another one of those ones? How is she at? Is she actually good at bantamweight? I doubt it. Let's fucking find out, man. Let's fucking find out. I'm intrigued. It's a Cachoeira fight, so it always could be a banger. I'm still gonna pick Joselyne Edwards for many reasons, but I do truly think she should win this fight and continue her bullshit best streak of her career. I don't think she's gonna continue her finish streak because that'd be fucking insane. But I do think she'll continue her winning streak and give me Joselyne Edwards by decision. I think she can win this fight. It's gonna be a risky one. This one is one I made sure we left out of our parlay because fuck every bit of that. There was not a flying chance in hell I was putting anything involving this fight in a parlay with money. No, I don't even want to put it on my pick sheet, to be honest, but I have to. So with that being said, my pick here will be Joselyne Edwards by decision. I think she's younger. She's on the best streak for her career. And I'm not ever going to pick Cachoeira's bitch-ass, cheating ass. So give me Joselyne Edwards by decision. And the hardest fight to pick on, not even the hardest, but the riskiest fight to pick on the card. Give me Joselyne Edwards by decision. I'm not confident, but gotta pick someone, and it ain't gonna be Cachoeira. After that, we go to our co-main event of the prelims, a fight I'm going to run through pretty quickly because there's nothing to be said here. as we have in our co-main event in the prelims, a layup in the bantamweight division that needs nothing to be said, because I said 2 weeks ago that I would give my pick away for this fight 2 weeks ago. It's that easy to predict. As we have in our co-main event in the prelims in the bantamweight division, a fight that is somehow got sanctioned, I don't know how, between Elijah Swift Smith versus Toshiomi silent finisher Kazama. How the fuck did this get sanctioned? I'll just tell you right now, Elijah Smith is my lock of the night. He is going to win this fight. This is a complete layup for him, and I'm going Elijah Smith by knockout in the first. This is a layup. Kazama is garbage. I know he's coming off a win, but that was against Champalampus Grigori, who's awful, and that was almost a year ago, so he's not been that active. Elijah Smith getting a step down from Vince Morales, which says a lot right there. He is minus 515. He should be minus 1,000. Give me Elijah Smith by knockout in the first. Lock of the night. I said this like 2 weeks ago on stream when I'm looking over this card. Elijah Smith is the lock of the night. He is the lock of the night. He's not losing to Kazama, a dude who lost to fucking Brinya and Garrett Arnfield, a dude who doesn't block punches. Like, Kazama's garbage. Give me Elijah Smith by knockout in the first. Nothing more needs to be said. Lock of the night. Next. And next is finally our featured prelim. Only 40 minutes, a little under 40 minutes into the breakdown, and this might not even hit 40 minutes by the time I'm done with this fight, because I don't got a lot to say here, because this is a can versus can battle, but it's an easy one to predict in that regard, at least. As we have in our featured prelim, one of these guys has to get their first UFC win in our featured prelim in the light heavyweight division, our only light heavyweight fight of the night, our heaviest fight of the night. We have in the featured prelim Julius Juice Box Walker versus Raffael Cerqueira. One of these cans has to get their first UFC win. Who will it be? Why the fuck is this the featured prelim outside if it's going to be a finish? Too many questions to ask. None of them need to be answered. I'm not going to say a lot here, because both these guys are ass. Julius Walker is 0-1 in the UFC, losing his awful UFC debut to Alonzo Menefield. Cerqueira is 0-2 in the UFC, getting knocked out back-to-back by Ibo Aslan and Modestas Kauskis. Walker is minus 600, which I think is a little steep of a price. I'd probably have him minus 340. I think that'd be better. He is the younger guy by almost 10 years. He is taller with a better reach and did have a better debut. Give me Julius Walker by knockout in the first. He should win this fight. Cerqueira is just one of the worst fighters I've ever fucking seen. I swear he's had 2 UFC fights and he hasn't even thrown a fucking punch. It doesn't feel like it, at least. And, yeah, Walker should win this fight. As bad as he is after that pitiful debut against Menefield, it's impossible to make a case for Cerqueira, so unless Walker is just the shittiest fighter of all time, which is a possibility, he should lose it. He should win this fight, and Cerqueira should lose this fight. So give me Julius Walker by knockout in the first. Not much to say. Cerqueira is a punching bag, and he's going to get punched up here. So give me Julius Walker by knockout in the first. Someone has to get their first UFC win, and it's probably going to be Walker. Simple as that to end our prelims for featured prelim. That makes no fucking sense at a featured prelim, but there you go. It's going to end in a finish at least. Bang. So those are the prelims. 39, about to be 40 minutes in. They're okay. Like, looking at this right here, it's fine. The Fernandes fight's alright. The Medic fight is good. The Edwards fight could be good. The Elijah Smith fight's interesting. The Walker fight's gonna be short at least. 3 finishes out of 6, but really just say 5 prelims. It's okay. Better or worse than last week's on paper? That's a tough call, to be honest. I might say better, but that's a tough call, so I don't know. It's okay. Nothing spectacular. I'm excited for Medic. I'm excited for Smith. I'm intrigued in Fernandes and Edwards. Walker should be fine. Fine prelims. Not much else to say. As we head into our main card, which there's a few fights I'll run through quickly, but there's a few others that I'll give some in-depth shit on. So let's not waste any more time. 40 minutes in, 6 more fights to break down from the Apex before we go to Drakus and Hamzat week. So let's do it beginning in said weight class that next week's big fight's happening in. The middleweight division, which is a big weight, which is having a lot of big, it's going to be very looked upon. That's a terrible way to phrase it. It's going to be very much talked about for the next week and almost 2 weeks. As we have to open the main card of UFC Vegas 109, a fight that shouldn't be on the main card, but whatever. We have in our main card opener in the middleweight division, easily not the fight anyone cares about in that division on this card or in general. We have to open UFC Vegas 109, Eryk, your boy, Anders versus CLD Christian Leroy Duncan. Not a good main card opener. I don't know why it's on the main card, let alone opening it. You usually try to start the main card with, I don't know, a finish or an entertaining fight. This is not that. Eryk Anders is 50, CLD is shitty. Not very looking forward to this one, but whatever. Let's talk about it real quick. As we begin for our first main card fighters, the OG Eryk Anders, 17-8, 38 years old, still kicking in the MMA and in the UFC, still winning, 9-8-1. Some of his more notable wins in the UFC have been Marcus Perez, GM3, Darren Stewart, Kyle Dawkins, who just got re-signed somehow, Jamie Pickett, and Chris Weidman in his last fight, which might be him a washed Weidman or GM3. You can make that debate which one's a better win. His losses in the UFC have been Lyoto Machida. He beat Brandon Allen in LFA. Okay. Machida, Thiago Santos, Elias Theodoro, Khalil Roundtree, Christoph Jotko, Andre Muniz, John Young Park, and Marc-Andre Barriute. And he had a no contest with Darren Stewart, which was bullshit, so yeah. Eryk Anders, always been a mid fighter. I will say average, mid's kind of mean. He's always been an average fighter. He's been able to beat the lower level guys he's been given, like your Pickett's, Dawkins, Stewart, etc. Again, did sneak in some Weidman and GM3 wins, but that's about it. And then every time he fought up in competition, he lost. Lyoto, Thiago, Khalil, Park, etc. And even against some bad fighters, he lost. Muniz, Barriute, Jotko, fights you should be winning. So, not happy with that. He is 38 years old now, going to be 39 next April. He's still a decent fighter, is on a 2-fight winning streak, but versus who? Jamie Pickett, one of the worst fighters we've ever seen, and Chris Weidman, who was at that point just physically done. His body could not even compete anymore, so not a great winning streak there. He can still go to an extent, but he's not gonna beat anyone decent, or even not that decent. Again, lost to Marc-Andre Barriute, for fuck's sake, so yeah. He's old, he has very few fights left, maybe 3 at most, and yeah, he's just fading. He's fading more and more, and yeah, He's just getting older. He's not a complete pushover yet for being really old, but he's not far from it, so 38 years old, your boy is still going, but not at a great rate and not for much longer. To talk about his opponent, CLD Christian Leroy Duncan, 11-2, 30 years old, 4-2 in the UFC. Really should be 3-2-1, because in his debut, Despotorovic blew out his knee like Fiziev and Gamrot, so that should be a no contest. So his wins in UFC are really Denis Tolulian, Claudio Ribeiro, and Andre Pulyaev, and his 2 losses have been Arman Petrosyan and Gregory Rodriguez. I don't think COD is good at all. To be honest, I think he's a pretty bad fighter. Like, if you look at his wins, Tolulian, garbage. Ribeiro, garbage. Pulyaev, if we got to Pulyaev we saw last week fight COD, I think it would be a different story. And then his losses, Arman Petrosyan, really? How the fuck do you lose to that bum? And Gregory Rodriguez. That's fine, that's understandable. I don't think much of CLD. He's a below average kickboxer with a little bit of grappling. He's a point fighter. He's a British point fighter. That's about what I can say. He's a point fighter with a little bit of grappling in there. He's not exciting. He's not really a finisher. Like, I know in the UFC he's only went to 1 decision, but it's hard not to get finishes when you're fighting the level of competition he's been fighting. If he does win, this would be his biggest win of his career, which is a lot that a 50-year-old Eryk Anders would be your best win. He's not good. I truly don't think that whenever he fights higher level guys, he will lose. And I just don't think much of COD, so I think him and Charbullet are not far off. 2 pet projects the UFC have failed on because they are not good, but I still might take COD over Charbullet, to be honest. So, just not good. Not good. But the many odds do have him as a giant favorite here, which I think might be a little bit of pushing it, having a minus 575. That's a little bit high. He should win, but 600? I don't know about that one. I would probably have him minus... We'll go 300. I think that's more fair. Could Eryk Anders win this fight? Yes. Is he going to win this fight? No. He's 8 years older. He's an inch shorter. He's 4 inches in reach to COD. COD's just going to point fight him for 15 minutes and win a boring decision like he always does. He's not going to finish Anders. Anders has only been finished 2 times, and unless COD learns how to do a submission, that's not a basic rear naked choke. He actually hasn't even done that. I thought he had a submission in the UFC. Unless he learns how to do a goddamn submission, or somehow he knocks out Anders, which ain't happening. Well, I think Anders only been finished 1 time, and it was a retirement versus, like, Thiago Santos, who COD is not. COD is going to win a boring decision, so... Give me Christian Leroy Duncan by decision. I would love to pick Eryk Anders here, but is it worth getting a pick wrong to just hate on COD? No. In my opinion, no, it's not worth it. So, give me Christian Leroy Duncan by decision. He should win this fight. He's 8 years younger, and he should point fight his way to a boring decision win. So give me Christian Leroy Duncan by decision in a terrible main card opener, because again, opening a main card should either be a fun fight or finish, and that is neither. Next, our second fight of the main card, and this time we go from middleweight to bantamweight for the second and final. Well, no, actually, I'm lying. For our first of 2 bantamweight fights on the main card, I forgot the co-main with that bantamweight. But this is the only, like, a real bantamweight fight on the card between bantamweights. I'll talk about why with the co-main when I get there. As we have in what should be our main card opener in the bantamweight division, a very, very good fight between 2 very good fighters in that division. But most fighters in that division are good. As we have in our second fight of the main card, Miles Chapo Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. Very good fight here. Again, why it should be the main card opener, because it's actually a good fight. Miles Johns, always been good. Gene Matsumoto, very good. This is a banger. Let's talk about it. Not much else needs to be said. Let's talk about the veteran here, Miles Johns. 15-3, 31 years old, 6-3-1 in the UFC. His wins have been coming out Contender Series, Cole Smith, Kevin Natividad, Anderson Dos Santos, Vince Morales, Cody Gibson, and Douglas Silva de Andrade. His losses have been Mario Batista, John Castaneda, and Felipe Lima, and he had a no contest with Dan Argueta. Even though that was a win, I think he popped, so really he should be 7-2 or 7-3, my bad. So there you go. Miles Johns is very good. If you know anything, you know Miles Johns is a great fighter. He's very good. He's always been very good. He's a top 25 dude at bantamweight. He's never going to be a top 15 champion level guy, but he's never going to be a very bad fighter. He's good. He's a good veteran, training with, I believe, Mark Montoya. Oh no, is he with Trey Ogden? He's either with Trey Ogden or Mark Montoya. I think Trey Ogden, to be honest. And that gym has been pretty good lately. Even though he is coming off a loss to Felipe Lima, which has not aged well, it still is what it is. His other two losses, John Castaneda, Mario Batista, that's aged pretty well. He does have a win over Adrian Yanez before the UFC. And some of his wins are not great. Douglas Silva de Andrade and Cody Gibson are decent wins. Even Dan Argueta is alright. The rest are pretty meh. But that's kind of just where Miles Johns has been. He's been like perfectly, like, meh is a good way to describe his career, because that's where he's been. He's always been like, he's never been a dude who, like, is like, wow, he's gonna go places, but he's never been a dude where it's like, man, he sucks. He's always just right smack dab in the middle. What would you rate Miles Johns as a fighter? A 5. He's very good. He's gonna test you. If you're good, you should beat him. If you're not, you're probably gonna lose to him. That's the Miles Johns story. And yeah, he's 31 years old, so he's still got a lot of time left. But people have figured out his game, but he is still good. He's a very solid fighter. He could win on any night. He has good power in his hands, and he's just a tough test for really anybody. So he would give some top 15 dudes a run for their money, because he is just overall a talented fighter. So that's about what I can say of Miles Johns. Is he a gatekeeper to an extent? Maybe. But there could be worse to be called. He's a good fighter. That's about what I can say of Miles Johns. He's very, very good. And speaking of very good fighters, his opponent, the 17-0, because he won his last fight clearly, Gene Matsumoto, 25 years old, 3-0 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series. His 3 wins in the UFC have been Dan Argueta, Brad Katona, and Rob Font. Some okay wins. Actually, some decent ones. Dan Argueta, a guy who I always thought was a pretty decent fighter. That was a good win. Brad Katona actually had a really fun fight with Gene, and a lot of people think Brad won that fight from what I remember, but it was close, and Gene did take it. That was a banger. And then against Rob Font, he clearly beat him. Should be in top 15, but whatever, shit happens. Clearly won that fight. Rob Font sucks, so what do you expect? And, yeah, Gene Matsumoto, man. If your name's Gene, you're just gonna be a great fighter, apparently. Of course, he's not Gene Silva good, let's not get crazy now. But he's good. He is very good. His striking is getting better, his grappling's great, his cardio's alright. He's good, man. He's a very good fighter, and 3-0 in the UFC, 17-0 overall, coming off a Rob Font win. He's good. He's gonna be a problem. Only 25 years old. This kid's legit. he's gonna be one of those ones in that division, and he could be scary. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be champion, because I do think Piotr would beat him, maybe a few others, Marab, obviously. But he could be a top 10 guy. If it fucking Eamon Zahavi and Rob Font could be, anyone can be. And, yeah, Gene Matsumoto. He's good. Good to see him back. See how he does coming off that Rob Font win. Not much else to say for the 25-year-old. If your name's Gene, you're gonna be good. I guess that's simple. The betting odds for this fight have Gene Matsumoto minus 285, 2 plus 225. Yeah, maybe. Nah, it's kind of hard. I think, yeah, that'd be about fair. Maybe move him down to minus 270. It's not a big move down, but still, he should win this fight. Like, Johns is a tough opponent, but not, like, Gene should beat him. It's not by any means a layup, and Miles Johns is gonna be a tough fight. He's gonna take it to Gene. But Gene should win. He's younger, his grappling's good, his striking's getting better. He just beat guys like Font and Katona. He's good. Johns is good, and Johns is gonna test him. If Miles Johns won this fight, I wouldn't be the most shocked. But he shouldn't. So give me Gene Matsumoto by decision. He should win this fight. It's a tough one. It's no layup. That's for damn sure. But Gene Matsumoto should win this fight. So that's gonna be my pick. Gene Matsumoto by decision. Again, if Johns won, would it be shocking? Not completely, but he shouldn't win this fight. Gene is gonna be one of those ones at bantamweight we talk about for a long time, and I think he's gonna get the win here. So give me Gene Matsumoto by decision. Next, not even gonna waste time clicking on this fight. Andre Touchy-Feely and Bumrod. I'm gonna pick Andre Feely biasly because I hate C-Rod, because I think he's garbage and y'all hype him up for no reason. He lost to most of these fucking great young guys y'all act like he beat. He lost to Bulgarian. Who else has he beat? Raul Rosas, who's ass. Austin Bashi, who's ass. He's garbage. I'm gonna pick Feely biasly. I don't think he's gonna win at all. I think C-Rod will probably win, but biasly give me Andre Touchy-Feely because he's better. He's cooler. He's Andre fucking Feely, first of all, and fuck Christian Rodriguez. Happy? Good. Next, our co-main to the co-main, our featured bout of the card, back with the females for the last time tonight, this time higher in the rankings, but not a bantamweight, of strawweight, as we have a generational battle, a ginormous age gap here, and OG legend back again, as we have in our fourth fight of the main card, the co-main to the co-main, in the top 10 of the strawweight division. A pretty decent fight, and I believe it was the closest betting odds on the card, which are not shocking, as we have in our fourth fight of the main card, in the top of the 10 of strawweight, our final female fight of the night, with the legendary OG in it. We have Iasmin Lucindo versus Angela Overkill Hill. Always good to see Angie back. Usually in the Apex though, so that kind of sucks, but always good to see Angie on a card. The legend, future Hall of Famer, 40 years old, still kicking ass, and what can I say about this fight? 40 versus 23. A fucking a 17-year age gap, which is fucking insane. Fucking Angie was like in her teens by the time Lucindo was born. So what the fuck? That's weird, but awesome at the same time. Just shows the staying power of Angie and the new wave of fighters coming up. Let's see what happens here. Should be interesting. And we'll talk about the higher ranked fighter first. The young gun, the child in this fight compared to Angie. Iasmin, Lucindo, 17-6, 23 years old, 4-2 in the UFC. Her 4 wins in the UFC were in a row versus Brogan Walker, Poliana Viana, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and Marina Rodriguez. Her 2 losses were Yasmin Halgui in her debut and Amanda Lemos in her last fight. Yasmin with her debut, so I'll give her a break there. She did go on a nice winning streak, not the greatest of wins, but wins nonetheless. And then that piss poor Amanda Lemos fight where she looked like shit. She literally just got taken down 3 times in round 1, 2, and 3 and lost. Couldn't get up, couldn't do shit, and lost. Not a good look to get beat by Amanda Lemos, who's fucking ancient. So yeah, not great there for Lucindo. And even then, I guess we should have saw that coming because she looked pretty bad against Marina Rodriguez. So yeah, kind of got fraud checked pretty badly. Iasmin's a decent striker, but grappling-wise, she's kind of shit. Cardio-wise, she's not great. She's kind of been exposed in her last 2 fights. So now she's fighting another veteran a smart veteran like Angie. Let's see how Iasmin does here. Gonna have to adapt to coming off a loss. We'll see how she does that after the Lemos fight. She's much younger, she's gonna be faster, but can she be smarter? That'll be the test. Only time will tell with the young one in this fight. Time will tell. Because she is fighting the legend, the future Hall of Famer, Angela Hill, 18-14, 40 years old, 13-14 in the UFC. You can laugh, but that's her record could look a lot better if she didn't get robbed a few times. Not gonna go down Angela Hill's UFC career. We'd be here for fucking ever. Go down her last couple fights. She had that Mackenzie Dern main event where she got demolished. Then beat Denise Gomes, which that was Angela Hill being Angela Hill. Beat Luana Pinheiro. Finished her no less by fucking submission, which is insane. Lost Tabs Ricci, but could have got the nod on scorecards. And then beat Kellen Souza. Again, just like Gomes did what she does best, beat the younger fighters. And now she is 3-2 in her last 5. Yeah, Angie is still doing it, man. She's still winning. She's on a Brazilian streak. This is gonna be her 6th Brazilian opponent in a row, which is fucking insane. I didn't even think about that. It's fucking hilarious. That has to be like a record. Like outside of fighting Americans in a row, and even then, that's probably, I don't know if anyone's ever fought 6 Americans in a row. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, Angie still got it at 40, still a ranked fighter, still winning fights. She still a decent striker. Her grappling has got better over time, but still not phenomenal. Her cardio is good. She's Angie, man. She's female Neil Magny. You can never bet against her. She could win any day. She could lose any day. You truly never know of Angie. She's still kicking. She still got it. For how much longer, we'll see. It's 40, gonna be 41 next year in January. Let's see what Angie can do. Her biggest enemy in her career has been scorecards. Besides that, she still got it. The bang answers fight have actually dropped a little bit. Iasmin Lucindo now minus 185 to plus 155. I get why Iasmin's the favorite, but I would move him down a bit more. I'd probably have Iasmin minus 140, 150. I get why she's the favorite. I'm not saying I'm picking her. We'll talk about that in a second. but I get why she is the favorite. She's 17 years younger. So even coming off that terrible Lemos performance, I get why she's the favorite. It'd be hard not to make her the favorite here. But now let's look at it. Could she lose this fight? I say yes. I think she 100% could choke this fight like she did with Lemos. She shouldn't have lost the Lemos fight. I think so. If she can lose that fight, if Angie, I think it's less washed than Lemos. Lemos is not good anymore, in my opinion. Angie still got a little bit left, so that's, and even Marina Rodriguez gave Lucindo a fight, and we saw how washed she was in her last fight, so Angie is not as washed as who Lucindo's been fighting lately, and having hard fights with. Angie still got it. She could lose this fight. 100% she could lose this fight. But just like Michael Johnson, just like Neil Magny, the fighters you can never bet against, or bet for, because you just don't fucking know. Any given night, Angie could win. And will this be one of the times she upsets betting lines and parlays? Maybe. Who am I picking? Do I pick the young gun who's 14 years or 17 years younger? Or do I pick the OG who is smarter? I'm going Angie. She's my only underdog of the night. And I'm going Angie, man. I think she can win this fight. There's always a possibility for Angie to win. She's the smarter fighter, everyone's favorite term in the world, crafty veteran. I think Angie could win this fight. She can just be a smarter fighter. And if she can do that, she'll beat Lucindo. Maybe mix in some grappling. I know it's not Angie's strong suit. But if Lemos, who's a striker through and through, can do it, why couldn't Angie? And then I think Angie has better cardio. Angie could, by middle of round 2, Lucindo could really start slowing down. Angie can wake up and put it on her. So, give me the crafty veteran. Give me Angela Hill. Pick I've made many times, and pick I've got wrong many times if I'm picking her or her opponent. Let me go with Angie one more time. Give me overkill by decision. I think she can take it. I think she can crafty veteran her way to victory. Give me Angela Hill by decision. It's a risky pick. Any pick in Angela Hill fight's a risky pick. But give me my underdog pick of the night, my only one of the night. Give me overkill, Angela Hill by decision. Iasmin could win. If she dominates Hill, I would not be shocked. But at the same time, would you be shocked if Hill wins? You shouldn't be. Give me Angela Hill by decision. What should be a very interesting 40-year-old versus 23-year-old, 17-year battle. After that, we go to our co-main event of the evening, booked last week thanks to Hung Sung Park pulling out to go main event last week. Our new fight for this card, for this man to co-main event the card. Thank God he stayed on this card. As we have in our co-main event of the evening, up at bantamweight because it's on short notice, but it's a flyweight fight and we all know it. As we have in our short notice for one of these guys, co-main event of the evening at bantamweight / flyweight, we have Steve Astro Boy Erceg versus the Jamaican sensation Ode Osbourne. What a co-main event. I love this fight. It's a fun fight. Two fun fighters. No, it doesn't make a lick of fucking sense, but what can you do when you want this Erceg's third opponent for this card? Alex Perez pulled out, shocker. Hung Sung Park got moved to last week, which is fine, and then Ode Osbourne steps in. Now it's at bantamweight, but we know it's a flyweight fight. There's not really much to say here. I think we all know what should happen, but will it happen? Of course, Erceg is on a 2-fight losing streak. He beat Pantoja, lost to Cachoeira, lost to Moreno. He needs a win in the worst way, and a loss here would just fucking be devastating. He needs to win this fight. And especially even now with it being against a short notice guy who's not that great, you better win this fight. You could have got an excuse with Hong Sung Park, maybe. Perez, you had no excuse. Ode, you have no excuse. You have to win this fight. And then on the flip side of things, Ode Osbourne is coming off his first win in a while, beating Luis Gurule, fraud checking that tomato can. Before then, he was on a 3-fight losing streak to Asu Almabayev, Raffael Fiudoho, and Ronaldo Rodriguez, so not a great losing streak. Lazy Boy and Filo, the Asu loss, whatever. We know what Ode is. He's not a great fighter. He's a big power puncher with shit cardio and shit grappling. So, he just hits really hard, pretty much. He's a fine striker. Erceg should style on him and win easily. And I am going to pick him to do that. But dude, if Erceg loses this fight, you gotta cut him at that point, right? There's really no way around it. 3 in a row, you lost to Ode fucking Osbourne on short notice. And he's the one stepping in on short notice. You'd have to cut Erceg at that point, which sucks to say, because he just won the belt a year and a half ago? But if you lose this fight, you gotta cut Erceg. But thankfully, knock on wood, he shouldn't lose this fight. He should win this fight. He's minus 400. He should win this fight. Give me Steve Erceg by decision. He should win this fight. It's that simple. You should not lose to fucking Ode Osbourne. It's that simple. No offense, Ode. Great guy. Fun fighter. Not a good fighter. And shouldn't even be close to the rankings. So, Steve, if you want to keep your job, you better win this goddamn fight. Give me Steve Erceg by decision. He should win this fight. If you lose, you gotta cut him. But I don't think he will. Sorry, Ode. Respect for stepping in. I can't wait for this fight. But praise him will come in and break down. Give me Steve Erceg by decision. He should win this fight. Should. He should have beat Cachoeira France too. So, what does that tell you? And now with that out of the way, we go to our main event of the evening. Finally, well, a pretty short breakdown. Finally at our main event of the evening in the middleweight division, 1 week before the title is on the line in the said weight class. This is a good fight, even if it makes no fucking sense, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it. Still a decent fight, a week out from the title fight next week, as we have in the main event of UFC Vegas 109 in the middleweight division to end the night in our final fight before we get to Drakus and Hamzat at 319. We have in our main event Roman the Caucasian Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. What can I say? Fluffy is going to run through Dolidze like butter. It's that simple. This fight's a complete joke. If you really think about it, why is Fluffy fighting this tomato can? Dolidze's garbage. Fluffy is on a 7-fight winning streak and should be in the top 5 in title talks right now. But instead, the UFC hates him and he's fighting Roman Dolidze in the Apex. This is bullshit. Anthony Hernandez by decision, 50-42. He's one of the best middleweights in the world right now. I wish he was treated like it. And he's going to run through this tomato can Dolidze, who is maybe the worst fighter to ever be on a 3-fight winning streak. Anthony Hernandez by decision. Pretty simple. he's not losing this fight. He's gonna make it 8 in a row and still be disrespected and hated by the UFC for no reason, and it is bullshit. Justice for Fluffy. He deserves better. Fluffy by decision, as easy as he wants. Done. Finally, I can say, boom. That was the card. To go over my picks one more time. Cody Brundage by decision. Gabriella Fernandes by decision. Uros Medic by knockout in the first. Joselyne Edwards by decision. Elijah Smith, my lock of the night, by knockout in the first. Julius Walker by knockout in the first. COD by decision. Gene Matsumoto by decision. Andre Fili biased pick by decision. Angela Hill, my only underdog pick, by decision. Steve Erceg by decision. And Anthony Fluffy Hernandez by decision. Bang. I'll talk about the elephant in the room, like always. Why so many decisions? This card is not really screaming out our finishes. If you look at all the fights I picked decision on, will it be a finish? Unlikely. Maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Nope. I doubt it. Maybe. Funny. Maybe. And maybe. If I had to pick a finish for one of the fights I picked a decision on, it would be Steve Erceg. Because he's a good chance he can finish a gas to Ode in round 2 or 3. But outside of that, I see a lot of decisions. I know I said that last week and I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I just see a lot of decisions here, so I wish I saw more finishes, but I don't. I truly don't see many finishes, so prove me wrong. I hope we get 12 finishes, but you know me, I'm not gonna force a finish pick when I don't think it's warranted and where I can't think of it, so I'm gonna go with decision, play it safe, and yeah, 3 finishes on the whole card. I hope I'm wrong, or it's gonna be a long night, so. But there you go, UFC Vegas 109 breakdown, done. Like I said, it's a fine card. There's some good on it, there's some bad on it. I'm excited for some of it and not for some other parts of it, so it's an Apex card. I think it's going to be forgettable. Hopefully it's great. Hopefully it's half as good as last week's. And hopefully it's just, again, at worst it's forgettable and we just get to Drakus Hobbs already, so time will tell. I can't wait. I'll be more hyped for it tomorrow, Friday, today I guess. And especially on fight day I'll be more hyped for it, but right now it's still, it's fine. It's not a bad card, but it's not great either. Let's see what happens, and you'll find out what happens on Saturday. But if you don't watch it on Saturday and you want to hear what I thought of what happened on Saturday, I will have the recap out sometime on Sunday, so keep an eye out for that. So video-wise, next time you'll hear from me is Sunday for a recap of UFC Vegas 109. And then, stream-wise, you'll hear from me tonight, from when this is coming out, Friday night, for the pre-party to this card. Then the after-party on Sunday, or on Saturday, right after the card. And then, of course, we do the hangover on Sunday to end the weekend, which will be fucking lit. And then I will have a couple shorts out, one on Friday, 2 on Sunday, which will be fun. So keep an eye out for those, and yeah, I think that's about that, man. That's my schedule for the next couple days, as it always is. And can't wait. Should be a fun weekend. Should be an okay card. Hopefully it's amazing. Hopefully it's not forgettable. But time will tell. I'm intrigued. I'll be more excited Friday and Saturday. And let's see what happens, man. Well, that's that. I'm not gonna ramble on anymore. Another hour and 20-minute video. I guess y'all are probably liking that shit. Not an hour and 40 anymore. Still a little long, but what can you do? So let's not make it longer, and let's close this shit out. So let's say what we usually say, and that is, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 200 subs, always the goal by the end of 2025. And as always, the last time we're gonna say things from Oblivion, broke down the card, I talked about the card, talked about my schedule. I think that's everything off the list. Let's end this bitch by saying, as always, RX out. Good vibes. Only. And